Margaret Thatcher is meeting her maker. And the question we have for you today is, A, have you even ever heard of Margaret Thatcher? You two? Have you heard of Margaret Thatcher? Yeah. Very good, you were listening in class, well done. Yes, and B, if you have heard of Margaret Thatcher, what do you think her conversation with her maker would be like now as she goes through the pearly gates?
What do you think a conversation between Margaret Thatcher and her maker is going to be like now?
I think she'd start telling him what to do. Otherwise he'd be out of a job.
Thank you, that's great, thanks.
Do you think it will be a judgmental conversation? Do you think God will be able to forgive her? I
want you to guess what's going on up there. Up in wherever.
Oh, Maggie, you shouldn't have done these things. You are very unpopular. You've divided people.
Okay, I'll tell you what, I'll be Maggie. Yeah, and you be God, okay? What things have I done, God? What?
Well,
I did it for the people, God. I did it for the people.
That's what she thinks. She's delusional. It's all delusion on her behalf. When she came to power in 1980, standing on those steps of number 10, quoting Francis of Assisi, I thought that was the most hypocritical thing that anyone can quote after what she did. I saw her once on television, and the first time, and I never liked her. I could see right through her. I actually said, I was with a girlfriend at the time, and I actually said to my girlfriend, if she gets in power, there's going to be trouble. And there was.
Do you think it would be a funny conversation? Do you think perhaps God won't even talk to her? I don't know.
So here we have a homeless man on the street, yeah? Is that right?
Yeah,
homeless?
Absolutely.
Tell us about your thought. How do you feel about Maggie Thatcher dying? Right?
She's a legend.
Were you in the army yourself?
I was, yeah. I was in the arts. I was in the guards.
Okay.
I love her.
What did you love about her?
Because she never backed down.
Do you think that's a good thing?
Yeah, of course.
Never backing down?
She made a decision. She
stuck to it. Right.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
That's why she was called the Iron Lady.
Right. Okay, lovely. Thank you.
And do you know something?
What?
We wouldn't be in this state now if Maggie was still here.
If she was still in?
Yeah.
Yes, probably wouldn't be in this state. Some other state. Okay, lovely. Thank you very much.
Another state, but maybe. But you can't. You're not going to. I love her.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you very much. So, what do you think the mood is here?
Yeah, it's very interesting because a few things on Facebook have turned up. For example, like on the day of her death, it's been so many morbid comments, and it's finding that. How do you find that balance of someone who has run a country and a country that is important, and then it's a person on the day they've died? Yeah.
Oh wow, where does one start? Margaret Thatcher facing her creator. Well, I know where I'd start. How could you have done? What did you do? I hold you responsible for most things that have gone wrong. Oh, I think she's the most terrible woman, I'm afraid.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Don't worry, you're not the first person. Don't worry. Well, what about?
Are the others also?
What about you guys? What do you think? What would be going on in the conversation?
Well, I remember as a child, we used to get a piece of bread. We used to throw it up in the air. Here's Maggie Thatcher. Throw her up and catch her. Clap for Maggie Thatcher. There's Maggie Thatcher, and she'd be a squashed piece of bread. So I was obviously brainwashed as a child.
Horrified your Auntie Beth, though, didn't it? Who
Yeah.
was the Thatcherite.
What's that? Say it again.
My Auntie Beth was the Thatcherite.
Right.
And when Sarah sang this specially for her, she imagined that Sarah went to a school run by Trotskyites or something. But my husband's a great one on Margaret Thatcher too.
What would you have to say about it?
Sorry, what was the question?
The question is, imagine Margaret Thatcher facing her creator. What would be the conversation?
I think it would be about the subject of forgiveness.
And do you think? I mean, you think God could find it within himself to forgive this woman?
Oh, I think it could, yes.
Do you think it's possible?
Yes.
And
I don't think she'd have to plead too hard, but it would be nice if she did.
do you think that perhaps a message, a positive message to the people watching this is that perhaps if God can forgive Margaret Thatcher, the chances are that most of the people watching this are safe as well?
Absolutely.
Do you think so? Yeah. Great, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, as many of you have heard, Margaret Thatcher has died today and of course now is facing her creator. And therefore, we ask you to join a prayer to help God forgive this woman. Because you can imagine, even for God, there are limits. So please join me in a prayer, because if God can forgive Maggie Thatcher, chances are God can forgive you lot. Please join me in a prayer. Dear God, despite what she did, despite all the killing and the maiming and the suffering that she caused both in her life and afterwards, please do have the mercy to forgive this lady. I know it's a bit of a stretch, God, but I think you can do it.
They're having.
Well, I think it would probably be all about her conscience. Did she adhere to that? She probably did, because she's a conviction politician. That's probably the answer I would give.
Right. So that would be it, and then that would walk she up straight to heaven then after saying yes?
Well, it depends whether this is a joke or not.
What's a joke? This life or this question?
The Christian ethic is that whoever believes in the Lord Jesus Christ will be saved, and that should be no different to anybody else.
Right, so no matter what she did, as long as she believes in Jesus Christ, she'll be saved.
As long as she tried to adhere to his principles, sought his help, yeah.
Right, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my God, that's a really hard question. I have no idea. I don't believe that would be true anyway. So it's kind of.
But just imagine it was. What do you think? How would it go? You know, imagine Margaret Thatcher meets God himself or herself or whatever. What do you think goes on?
That's a great question. I think Margaret Thatcher is seeking praise for all that she's done in her human form. She's probably looking to take God's job and rule heaven too, if I know Maggie like I do. And then she'll probably change her mind because she's returning and go down and visit the devil instead. That's my prediction.
Right, oh great.
Yeah.
And what do you think, would God get a word in edgeways in this?
Absolutely not.
No.
Of course not. It's Margaret Thatcher, for God's sake. No way.
And rightly so, probably.
That's my thought.
I'm out, I've got nothing.
You've just got nice blue eyes, right?
Yeah.
That's about it. Okay, great, thank you.
Gosh, that's a tough one. Well, she's had a very interesting life, so obviously there are many questions which probably will be going back and forth, and she's probably looking back at her life.
Do you think God was impressed by it?
Impressed by her life?
Yeah, and what she did?
Well, she was a very strong woman, and whatever she did, you have to have a very strong character to carry out.
When you say strong, to me, I think she was very controlling.
She was controlling, but you have to have the confidence. When you're in a position of power, the way she was, and for a woman to be in a position of power at that time, I think yes, she was controlling, but you almost have to go to that extreme to put your point across, I think.
Oh yes, I know, but the question is, what were her points?
Valid,
or whatever.
Correct.
Yes.
Well, I'm not a big Thatcher fan myself.
Okay. That's an interesting one. I don't know if we're going down the route of the creator. Would it be an argument, or would it be kind of a well done, or what did you do there? I would have no idea over that. There's so many opinions that creator.
Imagine she's having a conversation with God. What do you think is going on?
I think she thinks they're just playing around.
Who's playing around?
People asking these questions.
She thinks that.
Yes,
no, but she's having a conversation with her creator, so what's going on in that conversation? You know, who's saying what?
They're not really doing anything but testing everyone who's telepathic.
Who would say that? Who's they?
They're really in their areas of existence.
Okay, who's they?
The people who talk through you.
Through me?
People who use your theostics, it's a Martian terminology. The transmitter and receptor we have at the back of our head.
Right. You're talking about me personally?
Well, everyone.
Right.
Everyone.
Okay, thank you. Conversation would be like between her and her maker.
Well, that would be interesting because for a lot of people, they think she did kill like the UK. Because obviously I don't know because I'm from a younger generation, but from what I've been told and from what I've seen, like, you know, like for a lot of people, she did take away their livelihoods. So she'd probably have to answer the question as to why, like, she wanted to close all the mines, why she closed the factories, why she sold them, why did she sell them to like places like China and stuff, and like, you know, because now, like, obviously, like in my generation, we've grown up like a lot of stuff like being made in China and things as well. And I think she'd probably have to answer like things about school. Like, I know that like she stopped the whole like fresh milk thing and stuff.
She's gonna go.
That's a good question. Obviously, I think she's quite a divisive person. Some people loved her, some people hated her. But I think she probably always stuck true to what she thought herself. So I think, as a person, I guess that's probably all you can ask yourself to do as a person. Personally, I thought she was a good Prime Minister. I thought she did a lot for the country.
What do you think she did that was good for the country?
I thought she promoted the UK economically. Also stood up for a lot of...
What does that actually mean? What does she promoted the UK, you know, economically mean? I don't understand that language.
I think in the 1970s, I think we were a little bit behind the rest of Europe, and I think she kind of dragged us out of the doldrums a little bit.
Yeah.
Got rid of the unions.
Do you think that's a good thing, getting rid of the unions?
I don't think it's a good thing getting rid of them, but maybe they had a little bit too much power. So I guess it made it difficult for...
You think it's better that the corporations have the power, right?
I think it's good for the workers to have some power, but sometimes if you're running a business, you need to make important decisions, and I think sometimes the unions could block those decisions sometimes.
Right. Okay, what else do you think she did that was good?
I think she's also good in terms of Europe as well, sort of pushing back a little bit in terms of Europe maybe interfering a little bit too much in UK politics.
Right.
So she's always kind of stood up for this country, and also I guess not really a good thing, but she did go to the war in the Falklands. I think that's probably... I can see why she did it. I think that's mostly politically motivated.
That's a bit sick, isn't it?
But
isn't that a bit sick? Send people to their injury and death for political motivations? That seems a bit...
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't in favour of it myself, but
right.
I guess that's one of the things she's going to be most remembered by.
Right. What do you think if there is a creator? What do you think the creator would have to say about that?
Probably not too happy. Probably not too happy. Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much. If you were her creator, and it was time for you to interview her after her life, what would you say to her?
Oh, do I have enough knowledge to say? I mean,
if you knew what was really going on as you were the creator.
Oh, okay. Then what the fuck was that about? Yeah.